This is the camera I use to record all the YouTube videos, but I finally upgraded the camera. Let's switch over to the new camera so you can see how nice the videos are gonna look from now on. Yeah, so this is the new camera that I'm gonna be using. The camera sucks. This is the Game Boy camera. A camera for your toaster. No, for your Game Boy. Now I know I said I got a new camera, but I actually bought this about a year ago. And first things first, the prices on these have been going up. I bought this for about 12 bucks, and now going for about $40 to $60 depending what color and version you want. Or you can get a Japanese one for about half the price. Now let's talk some specs first on the Game Boy camera. The sensor for the camera is 128 by 128 pixels, and it's actually 0.014 megapixels. And you can take pictures in 4 different shades of gray. Now what does this all mean? I don't know. But I have the green camera, and the camera also came in blue, red, yellow, and a clear purple that came out only in Japan. And there's also a limited edition Zelda version, which is gold. But that one is really pricey. So let's just get right into it. So when you turn the game on, you notice that it's made by Game Freak, the same company that makes Pokemon, and you're greeted by this dancing Mario. And then in the main menu, you have Shoot, View, or Play. And if you want to shoot a picture, go ahead and click on Shoot, takes you to that extra menu, and then takes you to the camera. You basically point and shoot at a picture you want to take. Now, as you can tell, it's not the best quality. In fact, it's kind of bad. But we'll get to that later. There's different options. You can also do a time lapse, like I did one of my cat here. You can also do a self timer that lets you do anywhere from 0 to 25 seconds. And going back one menu, if you hit run, it gives you this little Easter egg that says you're running along the equator for some reason. And you also have a few more options while taking pictures. You can do what they call a trick lens, which basically mirrors one image to the other one, so like a mirror effect. You can take panoramas. You can also take a montage of different pictures, and you can take one called Game Face, which basically combines 2 faces side by side. So you can get pretty creative with the different photo options here. But what about that play option? Well, it's basically playing a copy of Space Invaders, except there's a B or a D. If you hit B, you play the ball game, and you can choose what song to play, and if you don't have a picture of a face, it'll give you a generic one like this one. And it plays sort of like a Game & Watch game, and you gotta catch the balls falling down. If you let one drop, you lose. Now in the view menu, you have album and show. And album, it's pretty self-explanatory. Shows you all the pictures you've taken. You can either delete them, put a stamp on them, frame them, a comment or paint, or even print them using the Game Boy printer, which I actually don't have. And then going into the show menu, you can do a slideshow here, and it's what it sounds like, a slideshow of all your pictures. Plays them all in an order that you took them, or in the order that they come out in the gallery. You can also make little animations from the different pictures and choose a song to go along with it. And the last option here called Hotspot. Sounds kind of hard to explain, but basically in a different menu, you can edit any picture, and you can make like a marker that if you press A on it, it'll warp into a different picture and play a sound effect or a song. For example, this Pikachu I have, if you press its eyeball right here, switches over to a picture of something else and plays a little sound effect. Now before I show you the rest of the software from the cartridge itself, why don't I show you some of the pictures I took with the camera, or more on the actual camera itself. As you can see, the pictures the Game Boy camera takes are not great quality. But the fun thing about the camera isn't the quality of the pictures itself, it's what you can create, what you can photograph. And while making this video, that's what I figured out. There's a whole community, and there's been a Game Boy camera renaissance sort of in the past few years. Now before I show one more thing I found out about the camera, I'm gonna finish telling you about the software you can find in the Game Boy camera cartridge. Now if we go all the way back to the main menu and you press select, you get secret little menus. You can link up another Game Boy, go to the special menu, or the edit menu. And this edit menu is where I made the animation I showed earlier. This animation tool lets you make little movies like the one I made earlier. You basically choose pictures and put them in the clips right here and add sound effects and music from the game. It's a neat little feature to add in the cartridge itself. There's also a DJ minigame, which you can change up the different tunes and sound effects, and it uses one of your pictures as a face of the character in this DJ game. You can press A to scratch the disc, and if you want to save these beats, you can go ahead and save it into the cartridge. And finally, one of the last features I want to talk about is the doodle and the stamp feature. In the doodle feature, you can draw onto the pictures that are on the Game Boy. Like this picture of Pikachu I have here. I'm just gonna draw some eyebrows on it and give him a bit of the rock eyebrow here. And as for stamps, it's the same thing, but instead of drawing, you can put stamps on the pictures. So I get another Pikachu and I could put these little stamp eyeballs on it here. And it actually has a wide variety of different stamps, including Pokemon ones. Now just take a look at my masterpiece here. There's a few other menus I didn't go over, such as the printing menu and other small details, but the one thing I was talking about earlier that really caught my attention was from the community itself. People have modded the Game Boy camera and added actual camera lenses to it and made entire projects, and it greatly improved the quality of the camera. There's actually a lot of videos on YouTube already of those Game Boy camera modifications, and so I was able to find a 3D print file online from the people who already designed it. I had to customize it a little bit, and by customize, I pretty much destroyed a part of it because it wouldn't fit my specific lens that I have here. And I also found people were able to record video with the camera, hooking it up to a GameCube Game Boy player or the Super Game Boy player on the Super Nintendo. Now I don't have either of those, but I do have a Game Boy Advance that has AV out, so I could technically record off my TV. But what if I wanted to go portably? Well, I could use the AV out to an HDMI adapter. Then I would just need a monitor. So I was able to use my phone, and I also used a portable battery bank to power the AV to HDMI adapter. Now it is a lot of cables, so I just quickly designed something really quick to hold all the cables, my Game Boy and the phone in one piece. Now this thing, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty big, and it's just a chunk of plastic, but it's better than carrying a bunch of wires. And I was able to record video using my phone as a monitor and then recording my phone screen. So I was able to take the Game Boy player as a video camera anywhere I wanted, which opened the possibility up to a lot of things. For example, I used the Game Boy camera as a dash cam. Imagine showing your car insurance this footage. The frame rate on the Game Boy camera is pretty bad, and with the quality, the videos are probably worse than the pictures themselves. But with those modifications, I thought I'd give it a go and modify my own Game Boy camera and see if I can improve the results. Once I added the adapter, I was able to add the lens from my camera onto the Game Boy camera. And the video footage is still not great. And I think it has to do with the focusing, and something has to be really far away or really close to be really focused. The pictures were a great improvement over the original lens. So here are some of the videos and pictures I was able to take with the different lens. First, here's some more footage just like the dashcam using the original lens. This is my backyard, and you can tell I have some cacti plants here, but other than that you can't really tell what's what. Now here's the footage with the new lens from my Canon camera. And at first I was only able to focus on something far away, like the top of a tree that you see here. And And here I am at a local park, and here's some ducks that I recorded with the camera. And there was even a goose that got close to me, but it was kind of hard to focus and zoom in using this lens, but it could have just been me. I'm not a photography expert or anything, so I tried the best I could. And also keep in mind, the other ducks right here, they're a good 150, 200 feet away. I also tried moving the brightness and contrast features, but I found leaving them on the default setting was probably the best bet, at least in my case. And finally, the best footage I got was actually this footage of the mountains in the background. You could even see that they had a little bit of snow on the top. And as for the pictures, they are better quality than the original Game Boy camera. Here I have some of my dog, and I also took some video game covers, which I also took with the original Game Boy camera, so you can compare them side by side. In the end, you can improve on the original quality of this Game Boy camera. And although this makes your Game Boy very bulky and big, and it looks a little outrageous, it was a lot of fun modding the camera and seeing the community and people coming up with creative ways to take different pictures and improve on the camera as well. It was a fun experience, and I would recommend if you're into photography and into maybe retro gaming accessories, then pick up one of these cameras. You won't be disappointed. But don't expect excellent quality from the pictures. Now I'm gonna end the video here because something always happens at the end of my videos, and oh hey Yoshi, you like the Game Boy camera too, huh? So I'll just end the video like I said before, and you really like that camera, huh Yoshi? Oh, no!